What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition, episode 3 of the Biz. I'm your host, Melly Mel. In today's episode, we're talking to music consultant slash writer, book writer, that is, Frank Johnson. He's going to break down this industry all the way. A lot of great content in this, so make sure you check it out. Plus, we're going to talk about his new book. Let's get into it right now. All right, so Frank, man, good to see you. It's been a minute, man.
Dude, wow, how long, what was it? Damn, when was the last time we seen each other? Was
So
it
you know what? One of the
a
greatest.
long time ago?
It's been a long time, but it's a story that it was a great story that me and you had. Before we get into it,
Please remind me.
remember we was on the stage with T-Pain, Flo Rida, Young Steph, and it was so crazy. Like it was just crazy. And you took my hat off and threw it in the crowd. Remember?
Right. That was the Kiss
Jam.
Christmas Jam.
It was I don't think it was Kiss Jam, but it was something like that. But
that's
one of my favorite stories. So I'm like, he threw my hat, my autographed Eddie Murray
Who threw
hat.
your hat? Who did I do it?
Yeah, you threw my autographed Eddie Murray Baltimore Oriole hat in the crowd.
Did you ever get it? Did you ever get it back?
No, you was like, here's $20.
It had to be worth more than that if it was autographed.
Yeah, but you just was like, here's $20 for the hat.
Wow.
Great story, though.
And you still played my records.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, it's okay. Somebody's still telling that story to this day. I mean, I am.
that they got tossed the hat off stage while at the Flo Rida and
T-Pain and Young Steph. Remember, you had Young Steph there, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
Flo Rida. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. And Flo Rida. He put on a great show, by the way. He still probably does.
That was the great Atlantic Records ride.
Yeah. They had a lot of records, man. But Frank, so obviously for me, I know a lot about you, but run down your resume for everybody who doesn't, like from the beginning to like what you got going on now.
Oh, my resume. Ooh, where do I begin? Well, so the meat and potatoes and get directly to it. Most of my stint has been doing promotions, radio promotions, moving. For those that don't know what that is, that's calling guys like Mel relentlessly until they play our records. And, the purpose for us calling them and getting them to support our music, the artists that are signed to the label, is to move records up the chart. And, if I know most people probably here won't know what I'm talking about, but most of my stints been in radio promotions. Let's see, I've been with Def Jam. I was Def Jam for probably about 10 plus years. Mm-hmm. Atlantic Records for probably the same or more. Priority Records, Raucous Records with artists like Mos Def and Talib Kweli and Big L. We were responsible for records like that. If you see the plaques in the back, Sean Paul, Jay-Z, Lupe Fiasco, just working so many records. I've been, blessed to just have had a mentor like Kevin Lyles, who, we're from the same city. And obviously, because of the music mogul that he is, and he's been for a while, he's given me opportunities to just work on the label side. And that all comes from just my love for promoting and community service and just really uplifting and being the ambitious person that I am to just want to drive. But for the most part, most of my stint in the music industry has been promotions. And promotions that were geared to growing awareness and audience of an artist, so that we can sell records at the end of the day.
Right. So with that being said, what's the most fun that you had? What label did you have the most fun at, do you think?
The label that I've had the most fun at? Wow. That's hard to say. So,
because Def Jam that's when they had a lot of things going on.
So Def Jam was exciting for me just to work for. So let me start from this. So Raucous Records, what was most exciting about that is because they groomed me into, and let's shout out to Chris Thomas and Ben Willis and Phil Gates. They groomed me into probably the person I am today. And when I say that, I mean, you know, they gave a young boy from Baltimore a chance to be a part of their promotion staff when at a very early young age. And I really didn't know what I was doing. I mean, I kind of got it. You know, I was dibbing and dabbling into street team promotions, and they brought me on to help them work records in Baltimore, which is my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it was just such an amazing opportunity to really work under two people who knew radio promotions and how to drive radio and how to fit the pieces to the puzzle together, meaning, you know, in those days, it took records really being played in the clubs, making sure the right DJs had the records, you know, going to retail stores and putting up, those were the days when we actually had retail stores instead of iTunes and Spotify and things like that. So, you know, we would go to the radio station, I mean, the record stores and put up posters in the stores and things like that. So as the consumers walk by downtown and in the streets, they can, you know, it promoted and advertised the artists. But in addition to that, you know, I was given the opportunity to really grow in the DJ community, which became my niche. I became so strong in what I did, which was creating relationships with DJs, that I excelled in the market. And, you know, in my city of Baltimore, you know, whenever you wanted to get a record played on radio at the mix show level, you had to call me because I had the strongest ties and the relationships with the DJs.
Right.
You know, those were amazing days. And then, so that was the raucous days because they groomed me so well for who I am today. And then Def Jam, only because my mentor, Kevin Liles, is from Baltimore, and he excelled a lot. He, you know, he was on his way to be president of Def Jam before I even got out of my Pampers.
Yeah.
And, you know, so much that, you know, I looked up to him for what he did and how fast he excelled. So, you know, my motivation for what I did was to work for Def Jam someday. And I remember I used to call Kevin and text Kevin and Kev, I want to work for Def Jam. Whenever you need somebody, you know, call me, man. Feel free to let me know. But Def Jam at the time was about empowering from within, not from outside. I wasn't a part of Def Jam at the time. So whenever someone was promoted to a region, from street team to a regional rep, a regional market manager, or a regional market manager to a national director to move to New York, they were people who were already in play at Def Jam. So me, I would do things like whenever they came to town or their street team was in town putting up posters, I would go do a better job at what they were doing. So I stood out. I don't know if you remember the days, and people, if you're looking, I don't know if anybody out there, you remember the days when advertising was putting these poster boards around Pose and putting up the Pose on the streets.
The good days.
That's where we started from. So,
Yeah.
you know, we would have these street team wars, and we would go out, and you wake up the next morning, we would go out at 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, because we wanted, when people wake up in the rush hour traffic, we wanted them to see our work.
Yes.
And so we would go out and well, I would sometimes, mostly I was smart enough at that age to hire people under me to work to go out and do these things. I was generous enough to share the little bit of money that I was getting at the label side, because it wasn't much back in those days. I was generous enough to share that with other like-minded people who wanted to be a part of what I was doing. And I had a team around me, so they would go out and they would battle through the night trying to find poles and the best intersections and so forth. It was just interesting. But in any instant, I always wanted to work for Def Jam. And I remember one time they coming to Baltimore to shoot DMX's video in Baltimore at Drew Hill Park.
Right.
And I heard Leor Cohen, Kevin Liles, the head of Rough Riders, and all of everybody was going to be in town, because, you know, when Kevin Liles come to town and Def Jam come to town, most certainly it's going to be a movie. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to show my ass, right?
Right.
So what I did is I got my team together, hired a few extra people. I said, I don't care where Def Jam stuff is. We want to live. We want to show a statement. We want, when these executives come in town, them to come in town like, what in the world? Like, who is this?
Yeah.
And, you know, it got to the point where it got so heated that I remember getting a phone call from Kevin Liles, and he said, Frank, I get the point. we're trying to
Yeah.
shoot a video.
Yeah. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get a job. And you did it.
Well, I didn't get the job immediately, but what did happen
But
is
it paid off.
probably
Yeah.
about a year later, I remember someone reaching out to me from Def Jam. Her name was Johnny Walker, and I remember it so well because it was probably one of the highlights of my life. And Johnny Walker saying, calling me saying, "Hey, Frank Johnson, this is Johnny Walker, and somebody asked me to give you a call for an opportunity. You know, we're looking for a regional in the market and so forth." And, you know, I got an interview at Def Jam. I went to they brought me to New York, put me in a hotel, and next thing I know, I was hired. I was the new regional rep for Def Jam. But that was the highlight for Def Jam, was because I always wanted to work for Def Jam. I always wanted to work under Kevin Liles because I loved his mindset and his mentality. We were so like-minded. He was just a little light years ahead of me. And then finally, I loved Atlantic Records because Atlantic Records is where I really got it. It was when I first truly got a chance to fly.
And throw hats in the crowd. And throw
Huh?
hats in the crowd.
They took off the training wheels, and, you know, I was given budgets and allowed free will to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of my favorite times because I really felt like an executive at that time. You know, it's a difference from people telling you what to do and you telling people what you need to do and you having to submit an invoice to get somebody paid versus you handling $1.5 million a year in budgets.
Right.
So that was fun. It was exciting. It allowed me to really have some fun, enjoy some life, hire some people, give back to other people to, you know, do what I did to get to where I was. And it was really exciting to be able to just fly around the country to, you know, enjoy life at someone else's expense.
Yes. Good days. So let me ask you this. How do you see, with everything being said, how do you see the future for the music industry? What do you see happening?
I think the future for the music industry is incredible right now. You know, first of all, social media alone has allowed you and me to become artists if we want to.
True.
You know, the key to it is how we use it, how much we take advantage of the tools and use those resources to expand ourselves. You know, it's part of what I do. If you log on to frankjohnsonmedia.com, you'll see, you know, a lot of our services are geared around grassroots campaigns, and social media is really a part of grassroots campaigns. So, yeah, I think it's an amazing future. Look how many stars are coming out. There's many more artists successful today than there were 20 years ago. Why?
Yeah.
Because they have the same opportunity as the main. A rapper today coming up has the same. Well, I'm not going to say resources because Jay-Z obviously has unlimited wealth. So it's like, but they have the same balance. It's the same platform. And, you know, if they get in there and to be quite clear with you, if a lot of artists get in there and they're smart, you know, they'll figure out how to use these tools to their advantage to grow their audience. And that's really all it's about. It's about growing your audience, because your audience and everyone that buys your records equal money.
Yeah. So how do you think an artist should prepare themselves to be in the industry?
Prepare themselves to be in the industry. I think that it's really important, first of all, to go back and understand the history of where music, hip hop, R&B,
Good answer.
Whatever that is. It's really important to go back and understand, you know, artists like Kool Herc and KRS-One and Chief Rocker Busy Bee, and, you know, moving into the Kid and Play days and the days of Jay-Z at his younger stature, and really just understanding how music has changed. And you see it going on today with the, you know, New York was reigning at one point in the music industry. Now it's Atlanta or Texas or, you know, and, you know, so there's an open door for opportunity for artists. And I think if they just simply educate themselves on not only the history of the entertainment business, of the people who were the trendsetters and executives in the business, and just really understand the basic fundamental stuff of growing yourself in the entertainment industry. You know, there's a lot of things. There's artist development, there's promotions, there's marketing, you know, there's budgeting and financing and so forth. There's a lot of things. So, you know, I think if we go back, if most of these artists really do their research on the history of music business, I think it'll save them a lot of money, it'll save them a lot of time, and it will allow them to grow a lot faster. But we have to really get back to educating ourselves on not only what's going on now, but what got us here.
Yep. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. So I think the $1 million.
Good answer. Top survey says ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Right. So the $1 million question, I ask everybody this: do you think artists still need a record label, and do they still need radio?
Ooh, this is where it gets controversial for me, and I hate to say this because I work from the label side. I just think that labels are great for artists who don't have the resources. If you can afford to put money into your project, the only thing you're really missing are the relationships. The great thing about being signed to a label is that they've already established a foothold. They already have the relationships.
True.
But the beautiful thing about that is you have people like me who are consultants who can be a buffer, so to speak, or that gray line between you being an independent artist or signed to a record label. You know, with people like, you know, consultants like myself, you know, the great thing about independent artists, if you can't afford to hire someone to do it for you, a label is good, but you know, we could be that segue to before you get to the label. You know, we with the skills that, I mean, listen, I've been in the entertainment business for over 35 years. I know how to develop an artist. I know how to put together a marketing plan. I know how to budget out your resources, no matter what that is, to help you focus on where you want to take that project. And more importantly, I have the resources, friends like you and so many others across the country, to be able to move your project. So again, you know, signed to a label is a good thing if you can utilize the tools that are out here, the simple grassroots tools out here, to create a buzz in your own city. Most people think they have to have a huge buzz across the world to get signed to a major label. Artists, if you're listening to me right now, if you really want to get noticed, be the king of your own city. Be the king of your own city so much that when I come to your market and I'm trying to get a record played, a Kayla Nicole record or a 100 Stacks record or any given record, that I can't get my record on a DJ mix, the radio station mix show list, because your record is in my way. If one of my counterparts from another label come in, they're trying to get a Megan Thee Stallion or whatever record it is, and they can't get their record played because your record is on the list in their way, and your record is hotter than their record is in the city. That's the way you get that's the way you get some attention. That's a good way you get a meeting. You have to demand your space, which means you have to either go out and work or call Frank Johnson.
And you're right, you made a great point, because program directors always want to say, I don't have the space. I don't have the space. So that's a great point. All right, so Frank, let's get into the last question, mainly about your book. Let's break down what it's about and everything.
So the book is presented to aspiring moguls and entrepreneurs and entertainment hopefuls who aspire to really be an executive in the music business and to excel in the music business. It's the purpose of the book is to take people on a journey through my journey coming up as a young kid from Baltimore, in the streets of Baltimore, who loved to dance, who most people don't know I was a rapper at one point in my life.
I didn't know
Most
that.
people don't know I used to break dance.
I didn't know that either.
Most people don't know at a very young age I was a promoter. And so many things that I was a community activist, and so many things that drove me to who I am today. And that I really look back and reflect back on in life as, wow, you know, I did not pay attention to the signs at a young age. So the book really takes you on a journey through my life. And the interesting thing about each of the 12 chapters in this book is that after every chapter in this book, there is a page called takeaways. Now, the takeaways ask you the question, what were your takeaways? Some of the questions are, how is your reality of your past an example of where you are today in life? What are reflections in your past? You know, these are things that will, after you read each chapter, will challenge you to dig into yourself and better understand through my story how you can apply it to yourself to help you move forward or transition in life, or just give you another aspect of life, another thought process of the way to think about. So not only is it interesting, and I share stories about, you know, great stories about, you know, when I was on the elevator with Jay-Z, and, you know, first time I actually ever stood side by side with Jay-Z and actually had a conversation with him. And it made me realize some things in my life. You know, when I sat in the lobby having a conversation with icons like Russell Simmons, who really taught me jewels about not only business, but spirituality within yourself.
True.
And how to use that and balance that so that you don't get so lost, because we all know in this entertainment business and in life in general, you could get sucked up and lost. So the book is a journey through from my childhood to who I am today. And, you know, I hope that when people read it, I truly hope that you take advantage of the takeaways and sit down and challenge yourself with who you are, and more importantly, who you can be.
Right.
Because the one thing I know for certain and for sure is that you can be anything you want to be. I know it sounds cliche, but it's true. It's true. Look at you, a young kid from, I don't know what your background was, Mel, but one thing I know is look at who you are today. And your daughter will have, when she is old enough to really pay attention to what you've done and what you've accomplished in life, there'll be some takeaway moments for her that'll make her smile and say, if my dad did it,
I can do
it.
Yep.
And that's what my book is about. My book is about you reading this book and reading each chapter and giving yourself some time to reflect on your life and use my journey, hopefully, to motivate you that you can be the best you can be. And, you know, although there's a lot of people out there, Mel, that don't really want to be an executive. They don't, you know, some artists just want to be artists.
True.
That's what you hire me for. Yep. That's what you call Frank Johnson and say, Frank, I don't really want to learn how to promote a record on radio. Can you do it for me?
Yep.
Frank, I don't really want to worry about, you know, developing and preparing my budgets and doing whatever that is to move my career to the next level. This is what you've spent 30 plus years doing. So, you know, we'll hire you to do it. But
go.
But no, I'm just saying, this book will inspire you to truly think about my story and use the takeaways to identify with who you can be and that you can do it. And if a little Black kid from Baltimore, the hoods of Baltimore, can rise to be an executive and sustain it for 30 years, you can do it, because again, today it's different. You have technology out here that'll make it move fast, a lot faster for you.
Yes.
You can reach back in the days, I can only reach maybe 10, 20,000 people by putting up poster boards and promoting and doing what I was doing. Today, you can post something up on the internet and you can reach tens of millions of people.
Yes. Instantly. Yes.
And just look at it this way. Each person that follows you, each person that's a fan of you, each person that you win over, that's equivalent to $1.
Yep.
That's equivalent to a monetary spin on something that you're promoting. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about the book. I'm going to send you the artwork, JPEGs and the things so you could be able to show people, because this lighting in front of me is not doing a great job.
And one thing also I appreciate, we talked a couple of days ago and you said this, a lot of times we see the finished product, but we don't see the struggles and the obstacles we went through to get to that point. And you said it's all in this book, and that's amazing. Yeah.
And I love the way you put it. I like the way you put it better than the way I put it. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes listen, I said, man, I could have spent $50,000, $70,000 going to college, but I was blessed enough to apply myself and afford myself through creating relationships, very strong relationships, strategically creating these relationships to be able to live the life that people dream to live. And I hope that this book inspire people to do that for themselves, because you can truly be anything you want to be if you have just a little bit of ambition in you.
Yep. Well, Frank, I really appreciate your time. I have to step up my background after
Name
this.
the book, Ambitious, by the way.
I got to step up my background after this. Where can I get the book too, Frank?
It'll be on all platforms. I haven't launched it yet, but you can log on to Frank Johnson Media, frankjohnsonmedia.com.
Okay.
My wife. I love it. Come here, baby. Come here for 1 second. Come here for 1 second. My wife is, so you can see, my wife is the co-author of the book, and you'll see that on the front of the book. Please don't show that book, because they can't see that. They can't see any of that.
And it's Frank Johnson Media, just how it's
frankjohnsonmedia.com. frankjohnsonmedia.com. And this is what my wife, Paris. And if you go on to Paris D Rose, is it productions.com?
No, it's just Paris D Rose.
ParisDRose.com. You'll get to see some of the amazing movies she's written.
Oh, wow. Nice.
She loves to say that shit. Yeah, see, I can't say you can just Google me. She can say you can Google her for sure.
Right. But we'll Google.
Yeah, Google Paris D Rose. But she's written books, directed movies that are out. And she's amazing. It took me last year during the COVID when I fell in love with her and proposed.
So she pushed you to write the book. She pushed you to write the book.
She actually sat beside me and made sure I got it. As a matter of fact, up to today, we were sitting completing the book, because I gave the book to my mom because I wanted my mother to read it. And she said, Tukey, I don't know who did your proofreading, but they missed a lot. So she read the entire book, corrected things, and my wife fixed them today. And we finished the book today. It's done. Nice. So we're setting up to move forward to go live with it, which should be in the next 2 weeks. We're trying to do it for my birthday, which is October the 24th, which I don't know when this is going to air, but in any instance, by the time you see this, it'll be out. All platforms, Amazon, it should be out. The digital version, hopefully the audio version coming soon, the ebook. There she go.
Wow. I appreciate your time, Frank.
You should write a book, man. You should write a book.
You want to talk about grammar?
Listen,
you want to talk about grammar? They'd be like, "Whoa, there's a lot of."
But that's the whole purpose of editors.
True.
That's the whole purpose of editors.
That's what you hire Paris D Rose for.
Right.
Well, that's
good
true.
Good plug.
That's true. But I'm gonna give you a trick real quick if you decide to write one, and I'm gonna say you should, because you never know what your experience will inspire somebody.
Very true.
So I would, and what I simply did, be honest with you, is I took my recorder and I recorded audio of everything, and I had it transcribed, And my wife took it and edited it and fixed it and did everything to it to turn it into a really tasty peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I think the worksheet, so to speak, at the end was a great. I mean, at the end of every chapter was a great idea, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I really want people to be able to take away something from each chapter. I don't want them to go
And
from
they
chapter
should.
to chapter, just reading to reading. I really want people to stop and think after each chapter and think about what I said and how it applies. Because to be quite clear with you, every chapter in this book, every young kid out there goes through the same thing in life. They go through finding themselves. They go through reinventing themselves. They go through challenging themselves. And what I simply just wanted for this book was for whether you're in college or on the corners or wherever you are, if you read this book, it will challenge you to be a better person and look at yourself in a different way.
Right. Definitely. I mean, hey, you got me I'm ready to buy. Just let me know.
Okay. It'll be up soon. I'll let you know.
Definitely let me know.
It'll be up soon. I'll let you know.
I appreciate your time, Frank.
Yep, that's ambitious. And you know, I'm excited about it. Now I'll let you know when I actually release it. So, you know, maybe we can do a follow-up on the book.
Definitely. Well, we definitely can.
Maybe do something live.
We can go live.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.